kind of showed up in the middle of a course here for our 8 limbs of yoga, but this is the 3rd limb of yoga, pranayama, and for me it's one of the most important. So the many limbs of yoga are, we'll just kind of pop back here to give a quick overview. The restraints and observances, that which you do essentially so that you can be ethical, so you can be a good person in the world. And we talked about those already. There are 10 suggestions for both of those. And then asana, the physical posture. That is what most people in the West think of as yoga. So when people say yoga, literally it's just this one of these 8 limbs that people are thinking we're talking about, asana. And that is the movements. That's, if you're sweating, if you're moving, that's your asana practice. But there's also intention. I like to think about it less as an exercise and more of a dance, of that bringing the mind and the body together for grace, for focus, for increased abilities to be in the physical realm, essentially. And now today we're going to talk about pranayama. So the purpose of all of these limbs of yoga is that we're going from the external world, which, at times the external world can be difficult, it can be challenging. We can want to just go to sleep, of course, and not want to be there with the world. And these stages of yoga actually help us go from that frustration with what's going on outside of us and slowly bring us into that centered place where we feel that we are at rest, that we are at peace, but that we're also able to be active in the world. So we can act intentionally. All right. So today we're talking about pranayama. And pranayama is a Sanskrit word. The definition, prana, means your energy, your life force energy, essentially. So prana is what makes you move. It's what invigorates you. When you're raising energy, you're raising prana. It's your animating life force. So if you're low on prana, the symptoms of this, you're going to feel tired. You're going to be sleepy. You're going to feel like you're there, but you're not really there. You're missing your life if you're low on prana. You don't have a life if you're low on prana, essentially. You're just wandering around like a zombie. So raising this prana is essential to actually enjoying yourself here, actually using your life for something. You have to have prana in order to do that. Yama means control or restraint. So how do we raise prana? First, we have to learn how to work with it, how to control that life force energy, how to have a little bit more discipline. Sometimes that discipline looks more like devotion or commitment to something, but it has to do with restraint. It's also sometimes called extension of the life force. So there are practices in ancient India where they actually use breath to extend your life cycle. So there are people who lived into their hundreds, even beyond that, because they did these pranayamic practices. So it kept the body going for longer, and it kept it healthier for longer. So the benefits of practicing pranayama, we're bridging the gap between the body and the mind. How often are you just sitting there and you don't feel like you're embodied? Like you don't actually feel your body at all. It's just there. The breath, the pranayama, helps us get from the mind and into the body and back. So it works both ways. If you're up in your mind and you're just thinking, or scrolling on your phone, and you're just scrolling, how do you gain control of yourself? How do you gain the ability to do what you actually want to do with your life? By bringing it into the body, by going through the breath. And it goes the other way too. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling very much in your body, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling like you want to punch something and you just can't control your body, that's why you get the advice that is commonly told: if you feel angry or if you feel upset, breathe, right? Take a breath. That's where this all comes from. It works both ways. So of course we're also going to be improving lung function. How are you breathing right now? Just think about it. Just a little bit. Yeah. Usually you only breathe into about like the first half of your lungs, if that. Usually just the very top of your lungs. So now let's all together take a very intentional deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth. Did you feel the bottom of your lungs expand a little more? Okay. One more time, expand the bottom of the lungs. And out the mouth. You're getting more oxygen into your system. When you don't have enough oxygen in your brain, again, life just feels kind of dull. Everything feels kind of awful. When you have more oxygen actually makes you high. So if you want to get high without having to go buy weed or get LSD, this, believe it or not, most people don't believe me, but if you practice pranayama, especially certain techniques I'm going to teach you, you can get high for free. And you can experience that high for longer. And it lasts longer, and you can stay in it longer, and also you're not using chemicals, and you're not costing yourself money and possibly getting in trouble. That's another kind of side benefit. I don't write it because, you can get high. It sounds kind of weird, but it really does make you high. Do y'all remember when there were oxygen bars? Have you ever seen those? Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were getting high in the oxygen bars. Because that oxygen oxygenates your brain. So it's a kind of bubbly, light feeling. It directly affects the mind. So you can change your mind with your breath. And depending on what kind of breath you do and how you work with the breath, you might be stilling the mind, centering the mind, awakening the mind, relaxing the mind, all sorts of different things you can do depending on the technique you use. And it is my favorite prep for meditation. So have you ever practiced any meditation? Mm-hmm. No, none at all? Mm-hmm. Are you aware of the benefits of meditation?
Yeah, like clear mind and being more centered, and I'm sure that it helps with like stress too.
Yeah, it does. It helps with stress. It helps with performance. So it helps you do more of what you love to do as well. And beyond that, there's also just that deep sense of connection. There is something deeper in meditation where you feel good. It's a bliss state, and that is the traditional goal of meditation. That's why it is similar to feeling high. That's kind of the threshold of it. But then you reach this state of bliss where you feel good.
How long are you supposed to meditate for? Like what is like?
There's no supposed to's. There's nothing you have to do. You don't have to do anything at all. I'm never going to tell you what you should do. If you want to experience that deep bliss state of meditation, then usually about 20 to 30 minutes is a good sitting.
Sure.
If you don't care, if you just want the focus, or if you just want a quick pick-me-up, a minute.
Okay.
Just a breath. That's all it takes. And that gives you that quick pick-you-up, that gives you right back to... So I always say, if you want to do this, then do this. Okay. If you don't want to be happy, don't listen. Okay. That's essentially it. But yeah, if you want that bliss state, if you want that deep, it's about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay. Some people meditate for hours and hours and hours. You don't have to do that. Most people are not going to do that. Right. And it's almost like diminishing returns. At a certain point, it's not going to bring you anything more. So this is the next stage after your physical practice, after you either work out or you stretch or you do yoga asana. This is what you'll do next. You can also breathe with your yoga asana. So as you move, you should be breathing. Are you breathing right now? Right. So you should be breathing. And if you can be a little bit more aware of your breath and using your breath well, that will help bridge the gap between the body and mind. That'll help you become more embodied. That'll help you feel yourself better as well. So if you want to be graceful, if you want to enjoy the pleasures of living in a body, sometimes you also have to manage the suffering of living in a body, of course. but there's also pleasure involved. So if you want to enjoy things like sex, if you want to enjoy sex better, breathe. If you want to enjoy sleeping or relaxation, if you want to relax deeper, come back to the breath. The breath is the key. The breath is there with you your whole life. It's the one tool you'll always have until the moment you die. You got your breath. So knowing a little bit about it and being able to work with it, that's really, I think it's one of the best tools. If I can teach someone one tool of yoga, it's this one. So I'm glad y'all are here today. All right, so caution, you do need to avoid strain. If you practice these breaths for too long and too much, you can get kind of lightheaded, and that's a sign to stop. That means you have high blood pressure, possibly. I can't diagnose this, of course, but if you know you have high blood pressure, be a little bit more gentle with yourself, because this actually can be quite taxing. It is a form of exercise for the body, because you're using muscles that maybe you haven't used in a long time, like your intercostals in between your ribs, and your abdominal muscles also you'll be using. So, 3 practices that I'm going to teach, my 3 favorite go-to practices for breath work. So in order to do breath work, there's a couple of ground rules. We like to sit nice and tall so that there's space, so that you can actually inhale correctly. Because if you're slouched over, you're not going to be able to inhale into your full body. Although there is also, if you're slouched over, and we can try this, so just go ahead and slouch as much as you can. And you might actually pull your chair back just a little bit from the table and slouch over. And now when you inhale, imagine separating your shoulder blades away from each other as you inhale. Filling the back of the body with air. Have you ever tried to do that before? It's a little different, right? Exhaling slowly, the back of the body relaxes. Inhale, expand the back of the body like a balloon. If you have shoulder tension or back tension, this will fix that. And now we'll try the opposite. So we'll sit up and we'll put the shoulders back, and we'll inhale into the ribs, the lower ribs. And I will just sit up like perfectly straight, like as straight as you possibly can, and see if you can inhale sideways. So you're opening up the sides. Alright, so that's prime the pump. We know how to breathe. You got how to breathe. So always breathing in and out through the nose. If you do start to feel weird or lightheaded, you feel like you need to take a breath, you can exhale out the mouth, because that's relaxing. If you're exhaling out the mouth, you're just like, it's like when you come home after a long day at work and you just groan and you go, and then you feel just the teensy tiniest bit better after you do that. That's what that big sigh out is. It's releasing tension in your body. So we'll start with Dirghasvasam, which is the complete breath. This is an overall good breath to start with, similar to what we were doing, but we'll use 3 parts of the body. So as you inhale, you'll expand the belly, inhale to the belly, and then the chest, and then the collarbone. And then you're gonna be right at the top there. You're not gonna be able to inhale anymore. If you can, do it. Just sip a little bit more. And then exhale from the top, and then the chest, and then the belly. And then exhale everything you possibly can. Force the air out. And then let that inhale naturally come into the belly first, then the chest, and then the shoulders. And then going in the opposite direction. So it's like expanding up and then crunching down. So you get this wave motion. And when you feel confident with that motion, you can close the eyes, feel into it, experience what's happening in the lungs directly. Every inhale, you can imagine bringing a little bit more energy into the body. And every exhale, you can imagine releasing some tension, releasing whatever it is that isn't serving you. Release the bullshit. Right out the nose. The longer you do this, you might start to feel a little bit of sensation in the head, almost like lightheadedness. As long as you don't feel like you're going to pass out, you'll be fine. You can keep going. It's where you start to get that bubbliness, that effervescence. You might start to taste that breath high, that oxygen high. And now just breathe as you would naturally breathe, normal breath. And ask yourself, how do I feel now, as opposed to how did I feel before the breath? Might be the same, it might be slightly different. It's just information. Just figure out what the difference is. For me, I notice a little bit more energy in my limbs, a little bit more lightness in my head, maybe some vibration. And then we'll practice the next breath. This one, if you're feeling sleepy, if you're feeling tired, this one is like a shot of caffeine. It's a fast breath. And that fast breath wakes you up and keeps you alert. So if you're meditating for a long period of time, it can be easy to fall asleep during meditations. If you feel like you're falling asleep all the time, do this breath a little bit more. It'll give you a little bit more awareness, a little bit of energy for your life. So the skull shine, Kapalabhati, literally is the idea that your skull is brightening up. Your whole brain is lighting up as you do this. So if you can imagine or visualize energy coming up from your base, from the ground, or from your breath, and hitting the top of your head and then shining out. That is what brings that skull shining effect. It's tapping up at the top. And this is the breath that if you're working on Kundalini rising, awakening, enlightenment, if that's any interest to you, this is the breath that will help you get there, to that awakened state, a higher state of awareness. So let's practice this one a little bit. I'm going to show you how it looks so you're aware of what it's going to kind of look like and sound like. So just pay attention when I practice it. So that pumping breath raises energy. It's like you're going ha 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 ha, but your mouth is closed. There's also laughter yoga. It's a whole other branch of yoga that if you love to laugh, that's a form of yoga. We will definitely go and do laughter yoga at some point in these classes because we do a different topic every week for these classes. So laughter yoga is really fun. And this is kind of like a quiet laughter. So the mouth is closed and it's just out through the nose. The belly button is popping in, and there's a little hold when you get to the back, and then release. And when you release, you'll find that air flows right into your nose after you do that. So let's just practice that real quick. So exhaling through the nose as much as you can. Totally exhaling through the nose. Like squeeze a little bit more out. The most air you can get out. And then Stop exhaling. What happens? Did you breathe in? You did it? Good. So you're okay. All right. Go ahead and breathe in. You can breathe in now. But how was that next breath in afterwards? It was good. Did it feel a little deeper? Yeah. So, do you ever get like anxiety where you feel like you can't breathe? Or you can't catch your breath? If you don't have anxiety, you might not have felt that. But if you ever feel like you just can't breathe deep enough or you can't catch your breath, and everyone experiences this for different reasons. If you're exercising a lot, you might feel that way. Exhale completely. Do what we just did. Force all the air out, and then a little bit more air out. And then a little bit more. Just keep going. And then your inhale will be really deep and really satisfying. And that'll break that cycle of inability to breathe. So, we're ready to try Kapalabhati together. All right, let's do it. I've got tissues in case anyone needs them. Yeah. All right, so for Kapalabhati, you'll sit up straight. I like to make a kind of frame with my arms so that my shoulders will stay steady. So there's a lot of strength and stillness in the body as you sit. And actually in that chair, I think that chair, you lean back a little bit in that one. So come to the front of your chair, or even let's take this chair with a little bit more of a flat back. So you'll want to be seated up nice and straight at the edge of the chair so your back is not leaning up against that. So you're engaging the core just a little bit to hold yourself up here. So we'll lengthen the spine. Exhale fully through the nose. Inhale partially. And we'll just do 10 exhales. Exhale fully through the nose. Inhale deeply. And hold the breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Relax. Breathe naturally. Alright. How did that feel?
I ran out of air before we got to the 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so when you're holding, or when you're...
Yeah, I was just...
You ran out.
Yeah, I ran out, yeah.
That happens sometimes.
Okay.
So, let's try just... Can you just one out and then inhale? Just once.
Okay.
Yeah, just do that one.
Like that? Or?
So you're not doing anything on the inhale. The inhale is just kind of coming naturally. After the full exhale, it's... Okay? Alright, so focusing on the exhale, the inhale will be kind of natural. Because if you exhale, you don't actually have to think about the inhale at that point. It'll just be kind of natural. You just kind of relax the belly. So you go pressing the belly button in and you'll get abs if you do this one enough. So we're just practicing that fully exhaling so that the inhale is natural after that. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Perfect. Yeah. Imagine you're having hiccups.
Okay.
You know what it's like to have hiccups, but if your mouth stays closed, you're like, right? You almost bounce. You can bounce a little bit. My chair is squeaking now. That was my chair, I promise. Yeah, just like a little hiccup. That's all it is. And in order to, so when you do this and you bounce, we got a little weight here, so it definitely creates some like bounce. It creates an energy when we do that.
What was that?
It's the same motion as laughing. So laughing actually does help you practice this better. Do y'all laugh frequently, like daily, on a daily basis? Okay, good. It's very healthy to laugh. You should be laughing on a daily basis. That is my official prescription. Laugh at least once a day. Really laugh. So that is going to be the practice. If you do feel like you're losing air, if you feel like you're not getting enough air in, just take a moment, take a deep breath, pause. But if you want to try it, we can try. You can go up to 5 repetitions of 50 exhales. So you do 50 times. You do that 50 times, and then you inhale, hold, and exhale. And then there's 5 sets of that. That is very intense. I actually know someone who is a Swami, and he's very good at this. Like, he's a professional yogi, and he actually had to go to the hospital because he burst a blood vessel. Yeah, so you've got to be a little bit careful with these. Don't start with the 5 of 50. Start with 2 of 20 or 3 of 30. Start with kind of a lower number. But this one is the one that will get you high. The more you do, the higher you get. So that is a benefit. So start slow and then practice this and build on that practice. Because it really, this one, out of all of these, this one is the most effective for me. So let's practice this one together. Let's do 2 rounds of 20, something really easy. So we'll sit forward. We'll engage the spine. Spine is tall, and the shoulders are going to be low and relaxed. I like to put my hands just on my knees, kind of creating a frame for steadiness here. All right, exhale fully through the nose. Inhale partially. Begin. Exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath with the eyes closed for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Relax the body, keeping the eyes closed. Just notice. What sensations do you feel in the abdomen? What sensations do you feel in the mind, in the brain, in the head space? There's no right or wrong. You're asking yourself these questions. What's going on in my body? And the more aware you become of what's going on in your own body, the more you can control that, the more you can control your experience. You're doing science on yourself. I think yourself is probably the most interesting subject, right? All right. Let's do one more round of Kapalabhati. So exhaling fully through the nose. Inhale partially. Begin. Exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and release. Again, breathing naturally. Notice what's going on inside the body. Notice the mind. Without saying anything out loud, what are you thinking right now? Just to yourself. What am I thinking right now? Is it words? Images? Commentary? I don't want to be doing this. This is interesting. All that, it's just thoughts. Just notice it. Alright. How do we feel about Kapalabhati? Interesting? Yeah. Have you done anything like that before?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about my children just in that one.
I was thinking about sleep.
Thinking about sleep. Did you get dragged out of your bed to come here?
No comment.
It's okay, I did not sleep.
I'm having
much.
so much fun. It's okay.
I did not sleep much last night.
Drag me
either.
whenever you want to drag me. She probably was thinking, I can't wait to stop hanging out with her. When I met her, I didn't know she talked this much. That's probably what she was thinking.
We just watched the movie, so I was thinking about the main actor in the movie I just watched.
You broke mine. You know how much? Did you see what there was good in that movie?
Anyway,
You should have watched it.
Was it?
it's called Sinners.
Sinners!
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about. You're the second person who told me.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I've heard. I got to see that one. Yeah, my best friend picked me up for dinner the other night, and she told me she had just seen it. She was like, "Yeah, go see it." But then she also said it's kind of gory and bloody, and I don't really like blood and gore. And she was like, "You might not like it."
That wasn't that bad.
No. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you say so.
You can tell it's fake.
Oh, okay. Is it like bright cherry red blood or?
I don't remember blood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll watch
Okay.
it. I'll watch it. I mean, you are the second recommendation,
Yeah, it's
so
amazing.
I hear there's some sexy vampires in it.
I don't know what's sexy. Okay. They okay looking.
They okay?
That's not
All right. So good. You are able to metacognate. That means that you're thinking about your thoughts. You know what you're thinking. How often do we go through life and we don't even realize what we've been thinking? We just wake up and we're like, oh shit, what have I been thinking about this whole time? I didn't choose to think that. It's almost like your thoughts think you sometimes, right? This helps you flip the script. This helps you choose what thoughts you want to think, which then ripple effect out into your entire life. You can choose what you end up doing. You can choose how you act. And then, yeah, ripple effect. It just ripples on out. So our final practice that I'm going to teach y'all today, and then, yeah, we'll go over a little bit some deepening the practice. If you find that you would like to actually practice this and go a little bit deeper into it, what you can do, because this is something you could spend really your whole life practicing and learning about and going deeper into, is the breath. The next one will be Nadi Shodhana, or nerve purification. So the nerve purification element of this, so do you notice like the left and the right side of your body feel kind of different? Just a little bit of difference. Like maybe you're sitting to one side, so you're feeling a little heavier on one side. Or maybe you feel like one side is under more control. Like, can you write the same with both hands? You're ambidextrous? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Did you train yourself or you were just born that way?
Train. I got sick in high school and my right hand didn't work, so I had to use my left.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I have a bum wrist, so I also kind of learned to use my left, but I'm not very good at it. It's hard though, right? That was something that you had to work hard to do. So the left and the right side of the body, they don't work exactly the same way. This nerve purification actually helps balance your left and right hemisphere. So if you want to improve your ambidextrousness, this would probably help with that, because it helps you switch between the left and the right, left and right, left and right, left and right, until you feel balanced and centered between the two. So the way that is traditionally practiced, And you can do it any way you want. You can just shut one nostril and the other with your hand. But traditionally, we use something called Vishnu Mudra, which you see pictured here today. It's just your right hand, and then the middle finger and the pointer finger are down, and then the last two fingers are up. Yeah, you got it. That's perfect. That's fine.
I
Yeah.
can't do that.
You got it. You got it. It doesn't have to be straight out. It can be like that. Yeah.
I know this one.
Yeah. You really are. Oh yeah, I can't do it with that one. You really are ambidextrous. That's cool. So you've got the ring finger. Usually the ring finger is going to close your left nostril, and the thumb will close off the right. Don't do it at the same time, of course, because then you can't breathe at all. But we'll be switching back and forth between the two. Again, if this is super uncomfortable for you, you can just do this with your pointer and your thumb. That's also fine. This is just the traditional method. Vishnu is the traditional god of the maintenance of the world, that which keeps the world going. So it's kind of in reference to that, the idea of keeping everything going and maintained. So it's pretty simple, but there's a pattern to it. It's a rhythm that you have to get into for this breath. So what you'll start out with is closing the right nostril, exhaling out the left nostril. And then inhaling through the left nostril, and then switching, and you exhale the right nostril. And now inhale through the right, and then switch, and then exhale through the left. And then inhale left, switch, exhale right.
Are we switching before we're exhaling?
No.
We're inhaling and exhaling in the same one.
Yeah,
Right.
inhale
and
and
then
exhale the same one.
same one, and then switch.
Inhale,
Okay.
exhale, switch. Yeah,
Okay.
inhale, exhale, switch. Yeah, yes. So since you're using your left hand, yours might be backwards. So your thumb will be doing, but that's fine too, because I'll just say left and right. So let's all start on exhaling the left nostril. So close the right nostril, exhale out the left nostril. Inhale the same nostril. Switch sides, and now it's the right nostril you exhale. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. Inhale left. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Switch, exhale left. And release the practice. Just come to sitting, breathing naturally with the eyes closed. And with the eyes closed, see if you can notice what's the left side of my brain doing? What's the right side of my brain doing? Can you differentiate those two hemispheres at all? Could you think on your left brain? Just maybe think your name in your left hemisphere. And then think your name in the right hemisphere. And switching between a simple thought and maybe the sound of Om, Om left, Om right. Om left. Om right. And then thinking into the center. Right in the center. And release in the practice. Right. Was that possible, thinking on the left and the right side of the head? Yeah. It's weird. It feels weird. But you can do it, right? This is mind yoga. This is yoga of the mind, essentially. The ability to, and what I've taught you is actually, this is a very esoteric, ancient practice called nyasa. And this is the ability to rotate your consciousness around your body. If you can do the left and the right side of your brain, you can think in your shoulder, you can think in your hand, you can think in your knees, you can think from your gut. We all know you get a gut instinct, right? You get a gut feeling. Of course you can think from there. What about your heart? Can your heart think? Center of the chest. Do you ever feel something coming from that space? You might tamp it down. You might be like, I don't want to feel that thing. But you can think from any part of your body. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, all this stuff can arise from literally anywhere. And that is partially what that teaches us. So the nerves represent kind of like the nerves on the left side of the body and the nerves on the right side of the body. And there's this central channel called the Sushumna line in the very center. So we want to be centered. We want to have that balance most of the time. And this helps us regain that balance. Okay. So what was your favorite out of these?
Probably the last one.
Last one. It's kind of relaxing for me. Yeah.
What's the breath called when, remember when we went to yoga class and then she said something about inhale and then everybody was like making noise? Or not everybody, no, not that, not at the end. No, but it was like, we were
They were
doing,
making it and she did it too.
it wasn't though, it was like you could hear the breathing out loud.
Yes.
What is that?
That's Ujjayi breath. Yeah. That's the ocean breath.
Okay.
So Ujjayi breath, and I'm so glad you brought that up because I didn't even put a slide. I should have put a slide.
No.
Oh, actually I did. That was the very next thing.
Okay.
You read my mind. Wonderful. You must be psychic.
That is it, because they had it on the wall.
Okay.
Ujjayi breath. Yeah. So the Ujjayi breath, this is a practice where it's like you're fogging up a mirror. So you go like you're fogging up a mirror, but your mouth is closed. Essentially just loud breathing out through your nose. Do that to help focus the mind, to help withstand pain. So mostly people do it in yoga asana because, you're in yoga, right? And you're in warrior two.
Mm-hmm.
And you're here, and you're like, my arms hurt, my leg hurts. I don't want to be doing this anymore. Deep breath. Something about that breath wipes out all those thoughts that are just like, I don't like this, I don't want to be doing this. It focuses you. It focuses your mind. That's why people groan when they're frustrated with someone. That's why we sigh. That's why we make those breaths. Intrinsically, we know that if you're struggling, breathe. This is also, if you are pregnant, you go to, I guess they call it Lama's class. I don't know. I've never done it before. But breathing when you're in labor is huge. It's so important. They go through that a lot because it's pain reduction. So do y'all get headaches, migraines ever? This is a pain reduction and pain management practice. So next time you get a migraine, just take a breath before you take your Tylenol. I'm not telling you not to take a Tylenol. You should take a Tylenol. But before you go to it, just see if you can reduce the amount of pain or manage the pain just a little bit with just one breath. And then go take your medicine. But just that feeling into it, just a little bit of understanding, a little bit of compassion with the body. That goes a really, really long way. So Ujjayi, or an Ujjayi breath, is that loud breath. And when we do motions, we're usually breathing with emotions in yoga. So that's the intention of it. So quite a simple way to do it. Put your hands on the table, or just one hand. Doesn't matter. And now as you inhale, you'll just lift the hand up. Exhale, the hand goes down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. That simple linking of the movement to the breath. That linking allows your mind to focus on the movement more. And now just do this. Just put your hand up and put your head down. Don't think about your breath at all. Not as controlled, right? It feels kind of silly. It's like, why are we doing this? This is totally unintentional. But when you're going, there is intention. It's like dancing. It's rhythmic. It is like becoming one with life. Life is then moving through you when you do that. I think it's fun. I think that makes life much more beautiful to live that way intentionally. All right, so another way you can deepen this practice, and thank you so much for bringing that up because that was exactly what we were talking about next, is counting up or down mentally. And you can say a short or bija mantra on each breath. So Om is an example of the bija mantra. It is a sound. Sounds that make up everything we do, everything we say, everything we think is made up of sounds. Your thought of the main actor from that movie, that was made up of sounds, right? You could break that thought down into sounds. This actor is so hot. So hot. So hot. That's sounds. That's rhythm. That's all it is. So this is why using intentional sounds like Om, Preem, Shreem, Ha, Hey, those all work very well at an unconscious level in our brain. This is why we love music. I mean, do y'all love music? Okay. This is why music speaks to us, because those sounds get to a deep, deep level. And you can bring sound into breath. You need breath for sound. So what you can do, and this is a version of doing it quietly, you can chant out loud. That's called japa meditation. So if you want to meditate, you can sit there and say, Om, 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 and that'll keep your mind from going crazy when you try to meditate, because that's usually what happens, is the mind goes off. Focusing on a sound, hey, 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 focusing on a sound like that helps you get away from the mind. You can also think it. So in this practice, as you inhale, you'll be thinking Om, inhaling, Om, exhaling, or hey, inhaling, hey, exhaling. So it's just linking the thought and the breath together. The next thing that you can try is the bandhas, or the different locks. The mula bandha is the root lock. And before this class, we talked a lot about the chakras and the different energy centers in your body. The root is one of those chakras, the Muladhara chakra. And this, it's essentially like doing a kegel. That's kind of what it feels like. There's just a slight lift in the perineum area. So that slight lift, and you feel it, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But that holds your energy in, that raises your energy up. So if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling like all of your energy is just seeping out of you on everything else. This is one of those practices you can do to actually hold your own personal energy, your own power in your own body, and not let it seep out. The next is the Uddiyana Bandha, or the abdominal. I always do that, abdominal instead of abdominal. Yeah, depending on if you have IBS, it might be abominable. So this is, you're sucking the stomach in. You're kind of making like a stomach vacuum for this. So it feels like you're sucking in and like almost under your rib cage a little bit. And I find the easiest way to do it is if I exhale fully, and then imagine sucking, just suck the stomach in, and cave the stomach in. It's a little uncomfortable, but with practice it becomes a little bit easier. Oh, if I can do it, you can do it. It's just about the muscles. It's about what's underneath. You're not going to look concave necessarily, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it there. So that's, and usually we'll engage all of them. So it'll be the Kegel, and then it'll be that, and then the chin lock, just simply tilting your chin down. And if you want the tongue, the tip of the tongue can go to the top of the roof of the mouth. And this circulates your energy within your body. It holds the energy in your body. It raises energy. It'll get you, it's another thing that you can replace caffeine with. If you want to replace caffeine for some reason. I know I don't.
I don't drink a lot of caffeine.
No? Just even a little cup of
drink caffeine at all.
I like tea. I do like tea.
Okay.
And I do drink coffee once in a blue.
Alright.
Like,
Nothing?
I drink tea.
Just tea?
tea has caffeine too.
Yeah.
It's got a little
I
bit.
make ginger tea with real ginger.
Ginger doesn't have any caffeine. So maybe you don't have any caffeine in your system. No wonder you're tired.
She just came for me.
I do love ginger tea too. That's really good though. Cool. All right. Well, that's weird. Usually in America, everyone's like, I need my coffee. Don't you dare take away my caffeine.
I was very intentional about not becoming addicted to coffee.
Yeah.
Because I had a friend who, if she didn't have coffee, she would get a headache.
Yeah.
And I hated that. I just don't like the addictive part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely.
I don't like the smell.
Oh no,
You
it
just
smells
never got
fantastic.
into it.
It smells so bad. I tried it a lot of times and it was
Maybe it was some
disgusting.
good coffee because good coffee smells amazing.
No, it don't. Even your coffee smell awful.
Anyway.
That's very anti-American of
I
you.
know, right?
Good for you.
It don't smell good.
It does. It does.
Okay, so since you're not having caffeine, this can help raise that
This will help
energy
you
if you need
get more
to.
energy. Because you're always tired.
Yeah, you're always, this really, because it circulates energy that you already have in your body, and it generates it, it spins
What
it
if
up.
you don't have any energy in your body?
When you breathe in, you draw more energy in. So energy flows on the breath.
What if it's bad energy that you're breathing in though?
Well, just air.
There's no bad or good. It's all neutral.
It's just oxygen. It's just air.
Yeah, it's just oxygen. Yeah. We're not talking like mystical energies here. It's just air, it's just oxygen. It's a chemical your body needs to sustain itself. It's oxygen. Alright. I mean, now we could talk about the pollution, and we could talk about the pollen, and yeah, there is some bad air, you're right. But try to get clean air as possible. If you can get a filter for your house, do it. But all air is good enough air. And then finally, the last thing is the kumbhaka or retentions. These are pretty advanced practices, but to combat tiredness or lethargy, you hold the breath in because you need more oxygen in your body. So if you're feeling tired, you just inhale, and then that hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Just holding it. Yeah. The longer you practice, the longer you can hold your breath. There are some people, like deep sea divers.
What does age have to do with that, if anything?
Because I'm mad that you can hold your breath longer than me.
I don't vape.
I couldn't hold my breath before I vaped.
Well, now it's worse.
Yeah, vaping will make it harder for you to breathe in. But yeah, just try holding your breath a little bit longer. Try that inhale, because you're probably suffering from lack of oxygen. That's probably it.
That could be it.
Yeah. Just a little bit more oxygen. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just have to bring it in through your nose.
And American method is free.
Pay for your
Thank goodness there is.
And then finally, if there's anxiety or overthinking, that's when you would hold the breath out. So you hold the exhale out. And that can help calm and still the mind. So that brings us to the end of today. Thank you all so much for bearing with me here. I know this isn't what you expected, but I hope you got something out of it anyway.
No, absolutely.
Oh, I just got lightheaded.
Thank you.
Huh? I just got lightheaded.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all have a good
Enjoy the rest of your happy Easter.
Same to you. Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Oh, that's mine. Part is recorded. Oh, have a good one. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.